Thanks for coming to the page again. I'm Mark Cookrow. This is Darren Mitchell. And we got a lot of requests for how to get out of the bottom, cross-side specifically. And when you're in the bottom and cross-side, it's not much fun, especially if the person that's holding you down is skilled. So I'm going to go over some basic principles, but I'm going to break down what the person needs and what you need to be able to put the person in the guard. And there are little details, but boy, I got to tell you, they've made a difference for me. And it actually changed the entire way I get out of the bottom and made a huge difference. So if you could, Darren, just lay your head here for here. Okay, so first, I want to go over what I need to hold somebody down. So there's a few things. One is you have to control their head, the plane of their shoulders, and their hips. Okay, and 1 is good, 2 is really good, 3, awesome. And the one thing that I never really did in the beginning was use shoulder pressure on their face. And you'll hear this probably from your training partners, your own coaches, and then one day you'll be training and it'll just sink in and you'll get it. But my goal is to get my knees and my hips as close to his body, as close to his hips and shoulder as possible. So I can go from his elbow and his knee in between, but the closer to his torso, the more I can apply contact to his body. So these are very important. The other thing is, if you're 90 degrees like this, it's going to be more difficult to get out. So I want to go over just a few things when you do this. Very often you'll go to a class and you'll see people say, okay, escape. And so what you've already done is you've given the person 90% of what they need. So when you are doing escapes, you shouldn't wait until your opponent gets you down and your back is flat on the mat. When you start here, shrimp, you should start right away. Okay, so come here. So these are simple things. So you should not be able to, see, that's what, you don't want that, okay? As soon as I come in, he moves, just like this, and starts framing, okay? So build on that reaction. Don't say, hold me down, because that's the worst case scenario. So those are a couple of things. Okay, the other thing I need is I'm going to block with my knee from his pelvic bone to between his knee. And I'm going to bring this in, okay? Now, when you have cross-side, there's a couple things to consider. If both of my arms are here, try not to have your hands on the floor. You roll over and hurt your fingers. You can have your hands like this, like this, like this. You can still roll over, so it's up to you. I personally prefer this one. When your hands are here, you have more submission options. And because the person can move a little bit more. If I hold on to them like this, there's no submissions here. I can take their back and I can get a position, but there's no submissions here. There are submissions here. There are submissions here, but you have to watch your back. There are lots of submissions here, but it's harder to get out of. And there's a ton of submissions here, okay? So I have to hold his face down. I don't have to put a lot of weight on it, but I got to prevent it from moving. So now when he moves, it's going to be more difficult. The other thing is, I put one knee up and one down. My toes should be up, okay? So when he pushes back, I have something to base off of. So I don't want him controlling my neck, I don't want him controlling my shoulders, and I don't want him controlling my hips. So let's switch real quick. Okay, so just a couple of things. So let's start here, both hands on this side. Okay, when he's here, this is a common mistake that I see a lot, and I did too, is bringing your hand over. This really leaves you open to a lot of submissions. So make sure when you're trying to get out, this hand is in here in his hip. Just like this. Don't get your fingers bent back, so use your forearm. And you can cup your hand like this. This will go under, just like in a pummeling drill, right here. Okay? Now what I personally like to do is come across here, and right across their face. Okay, and it gets them to move. And when they move, this foot bridges, and as I push back and fall down, I bring my knee in, just like this. Now there's a couple of things that happen here. You have to push with your knee, like this, to make space, just like this. Now, as you make space, you want him to come forward, so you can take this foot and put it over the leg. So if he runs around, I would be able to hitchhike and carry, and be carried by his momentum, okay? So, again, 2 hands like this. 1, 2. Don't just push and don't just turn. Push with your elbow. The closer to your elbow that you push with, the more power you can generate. So put your head down. It's hard to push like this. If I get close to my elbow, I can get a lot more power. So I'm going to bridge up. As I fall down, I bring this knee in. And then I push with my knee like this. And then I make space for this foot. Okay? So that's if his arms are on this side. If his arms are on this side, I know that he's going for this arm, pretty much. Paintbrush, straight arm bar, Kimura, whatever, okay? If he has one hand here, there's a few things. If this arm is on here, on this side of my body, I can put my hand here, bridge, turn, and as I drop, pull my elbow into his hip. His arm is completely pinned into the mat. I'm going to take this arm and go above his ear, and I'm going to turn my thumb towards me and bridge and try to put my thumb on the floor. What that's going to do is move him over and let me bring my knee in. And then again, I'm going to push with my shin to make space and then put this hook in right here. Okay? Now, just a little tip too. When you do this, you go 1, 2, put this in, start to move. All of a sudden, this knee is trapped. What I want you to do is hold. You can hold any way you want. 1, 2, 3. And it always comes out, pretty much. Okay? Let's go back to it. So, if he has both hands on the opposite side, like this, he doesn't have a submission, but he wants to he wants to turn me over more than anything. So, this hand is here. I don't want to put my hand up here. I want it close. I'm going to do something that's similar. This foot comes out. I bridge. Same thing. Pommel. And my elbow is right here. And I frame with this. I'm going to slide back. And now I want you to watch my feet. My hips are on the floor. Do not do this. What I want you to do is take this foot, lift, turn, and drive in. Just like this. And you see how my feet are up, my toes? I want you to keep your head against their body and look up. And then turn. And my knee is over his ankle, so it's pretty difficult to turn and to roll, okay? Just like this, nice and tight. Don't put your arms real high or he can roll you. So you keep your hands right here just like this, okay? So there's sweeps and all sorts of things, but really, if you know how to put pressure on the person and make space, you're going to put him in the guard. So if his hands are here, you can go here. You can even go like this and frame, and this hand will go here. This elbow stays in contact like this. And now I can do whatever I want. I can come up and run in just like this. And then pull, 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 and go around the back. So those are just a couple of options. But the key to not getting held down a crossbody, is don't wait for the person to get you before you escape. The minute they pass your legs, you should be shrimping away. The minute they get past your knees, you should be blocking and turning back towards them. So it's very important that when he's here, I don't want to be 90 degrees. I want to move and get my body here. And I want to start to get our spines from this more like this. So I can turn in, and yeah, now this arm blocks my knees, so I'm going to come in just like this. And move. Grab his ankle, my shin goes across, and then you get your space. Then you get your grips. And then you can do whatever you want. So the big thing is, if you know what they need to hold a position, start taking it away, and it makes your escapes a lot easier, that much easier. So go through this video, play it, try it, come back, look for some more details, and we'll follow up with some more requests. Thanks for coming to the page. Take care.